morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Here we are, 40 days after Easter, actually 43 days. Ascension is normally celebrated on a Thursday, but it's been moved, obviously, to today. And here we are celebrating Ascension. But what is so important about the Ascension for you and me? It is the exaltation of our humanity, the divinization of what makes us human, matter, temporalness of our being. It is Christ's final redemptive act, allowing us to be able to be participants, totally, in participation with and in the divine life. Not only are we created in the image and likeness of God, but through His exalting our material being and being ascended into heaven fully as man and fully as God, we too are like Him. Truly, flesh of His flesh, bones of His bones. By becoming one like us at His birth, at His incarnation, Christ destroyed the separation, the division between us, matter, and God, spirit. There is no longer a divide. We now have direct access to God, our Father, through Jesus Christ. It is often said that the key to heaven hangs on a cross, hangs on the nail of the cross. It is through His redemptive suffering that He has brought us glorification. He has redeemed us back to the heart of the Father. Christ, as the divine human being, not only divinized it, but glorified it. Us. We are more than what we think we are. The key to being a Christian, then, is to know Jesus and know Him with our whole being. Every fiber of our matter, heart, mind, spirit, body. And it is our response in knowing that to imitate Him by a life of integrity and treasure His teaching and example, following His way. For He is, as He says, the way, the truth, and the life. By entering into His passion, it was a self-emptying. A self-emptying, a humiliation of Him as God, stripping away that divinity in Him. And He did that for our sake. And that was the end point of His earthly life, His earthly mortal life. So for 40 days, He still remained with us, but as the crucified Jesus, not as the whole being as we recognize ourselves to be. For He exhibited, even in His works, in all things, the marks, that debt that He paid for us, our sins. So He did it for our sake. It was the end point of His earthly life. And because of that, we too must and should enter that processing of emptying in our own lives by laying aside what is not honorable, what is not just, or moral about ourselves, and truly living lives in the knowledge of the presence of God in our very being. God within us. The grace of the Ascension should penetrate the depths of our being and our daily routines as well, enabling us to be Christ in all, even in the most troublesome aspects of life, regardless if it be misery, dissension, or loneliness. The grace of the Ascension then strengthens faith into this belief that God's will be done no matter what happens. The mystery of Christ's presence reveals that we, through his ascension, and in all of creation, is already glorified, although at times seemingly hidden, yet awaiting the fullness of that last day when our eyes will become fully open and we see reality for what it is. That Christ dwells at the center of creation and in each one of us, transforming it all, transforming us all, by bringing it back, us back, to the heart of the Father in union with him. Now is a time when, through our personal experience of Christ in our own lives, we demonstrate to the world the fruits of human friendship and service to others with an infinite love that expresses the hunger of God for humanity. In this way, all will see Christ's light shining in our hearts and feel his presence within us. The presence of his love, his light, and his glory, even in those moments of injustice and suffering. In this way, the mystery of the Ascension becomes apparent by filling us and all things with boundless love, light, and life. He is the sum of every duty to each other. He then is the reason for us to serve and becomes for us a joy in sharing with one another everything that is joined forever in our humanity through his divinity. Christ cleansed and recreated in himself all that is, and has recreated us by exalting our lowliness, by taking the dust of the earth from which we were formed and bringing it into heaven, to the presence of the Father, making us worthy of being participants, brothers and sisters, in that divine life. He offers us in himself as a gift to the Father and continues his ministry to this day, right here on the altar, in our lives, day by day. As we serve others, as we step out of our comfort zones, as we go out into the world, as we testify and witness to God's love in our lives, we then truly become Christians, Christ-like. By reconciling us to the Father, Christ, by his act of atonement, becomes vital to our hope and our mission to go out into the whole world, to proclaim that good news with all the joy, all the optimism of a well-grounded faith. May God, in his love and his goodness, bless each and every one of you in every aspect of your lives, every day of your life. God bless you.
Amen.